Well, howdy again, folks. It's Rick from the Boondocking Bears. Well, I've decided to skip forward in time a bit to August of this year, 2019, and put up a video on my Prius camping car setup. I have oodles of backlog videos yet to edit, but on various social media platforms, several have asked to show my updated car setup. So you guys rule. That's what I'll do, and then get back to catching up. So there are 3 camping configurations that I use, depending on the nature of the trip. One you've seen already, using the Prius with the Napier tent attached on the back. That's the, quote, long distance and time travel rig, where I set up a base camp hub, returning to it each night after a day out exploring. So I use this when stationary for a week or more. The second setup is motorcycle camping, when camping off the bike, and there is a video upcoming about that too. Obviously, that is an entirely different camp configuration and not really germane to Prius camping. And lastly is my travel light setup, used when moving to new locations, if not daily, then every other day. And that is a setup we're going to go through here, and the one I just finished using on an 11-day road trip. Now, I love this setup because it's comfortable, fast to set up, and convenient. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The only thing I would add to this rig is a Habi tents to the hatch for bug protection, and I'll do that before the next outing.
Just a good old boy.
Okay, so that's my rig for tonight here at camp on the Kentucky. You can see I got a tarp rigged over the back, which is really quick. That's why I liked it. Go over the picnic table here, and you can see the hatch is open, and that's where I think the Habi tent would go really well. Now, on a nice night like tonight, where I was sitting before is perfect. But if it starts raining, I don't want to sit in a car all night, or if it's a rainy day, I don't want to sit in a car all day. So if I've got the Napier tent, that's one thing, but this works out perfectly. I can throw my chair, table, my laptop underneath there. That's the camera I was just shooting with. Got a little trash bag there hanging off the post, but it was set up in 10 minutes, no big deal. And then here is what I've done with the interior, and I'm hoping that you can see this, that the light works. So this is an Alpi-Cool 21 quart AC or DC fridge or freezer, and it has worked perfectly. Now, the reason I wanted to show you is because most people put these behind the passenger seat on the floor, but let me tell you, that's just a pain in the butt. You can't get at the food. And during the drives, during the day, I want to get a pop out or a bottle of water or something. And I'm filling up, I just pull over, open that up, pull out a drink, and pop it back down. The one thing I'm careful of is I make sure that I keep that clear, because there is a vent there. So I usually prop a bottle in here at night, a bottle of water, and that just keeps that clear. And then you can see what I've done. Now this is the night mode, okay? Now I have a day mode, which is driving mode, and a night mode. And so this is using a Thermarest, I think this is called 3D or something. Sleeping pad, it's 4 inches. It's got an inch of foam on the top, sewn, or not sewn, but then a sheet sewn around it that's removable for washing. And then I wrapped a heavy, you can see it here, a heavy duvet, down duvet under, wrapped it around it just to give it another layer of comfort. It has been very comfortable. And I've got the sleeping bag on top, which has been so hot I haven't even used it, even with the air conditioning blowing all night. And the air conditioning has worked beautifully. I have been dry, and it is so humid. I have been dry and cool, can sleep without a shirt, can sleep without a cover like a sleeping bag, and it's all set to go. But then what I do during the day when I'm traveling, you can see I got a bunch of cords here, and right now I've got nothing. Let me see if I can open this up. It's going to be kind of tricky, but there's my inverter, okay? There's nothing plugged into it at the moment. But what I do have is this. Oh, there is something plugged into it. So that's plugged into it. It's just a extension cord. And that comes off to this, in this case, the USB hub. And that sits right here during the day. And what it does, it allows me to charge this gimbal that I'm using to steady the camera for the phone for videos. And it needs to be charged quite often. And I charge my Alpha 6000, the Sony Alpha 6000, which also takes the same cord. So I just two, I think they're micro USB cords. Here's one right here. Doesn't matter, whatever they are. And I leave those right there. So then when I want to stop and see something, I just come around the back, pull out my cameras, unplug them, and everything's always charged all day. I don't have to worry about batteries, changing batteries and all that crap. And then at night I plug them in and go. So now that's during the day mode. The Alpicool, this guy, is plugged into the 12 volt outlet between the front seats. So that's where that's going. And when I was in Fort Lauderdale, I didn't want to leave my car on because the family, we had rented a house for the weekend. I didn't want to leave my car on all day, and I had food in there. So I brought it into the house. I switched the cords to the AC, left it on the kitchen counter all weekend, and it was fantastic. Perfect. That is a great device. Okay, so over in this corner is just spare stuff. I've got a Road Pro cooker with me. I have not used it, so these are just extra pans for it. A bottle of water. Over here is where I stored, it's out on the picnic table, but there's a big actually motorcycle helmet bag of cooking gear, fry pans, burners, all that kind of stuff. You know, utensils, plates, crap like that. So that just sits right there. At night, also I should say, let me show you some stuff over here. So over here, I got to get all that crap into the car. And the main one, of course, is that food plastic container. And that goes just in front of the pillows here. So it sits there during the day when I'm traveling. And at night, it will fit on top of my clothes bag. And let me show you where that goes. This is a bit messy over here, but hey, what the hell. I've been on the road for a long time. So that's my clothes bag. And I got some running shoes and a bag of bottles of water down there. But then my plastic food bag bin sits right there on top of it during the day. So I got access to my food if I want it. And it's out of the way. I'm sorry, I said during the day. That's at night. It sits on top of my food. Oh my, I'm getting hot here. Let's try that again. At night, it sits on top of my clothes bag. And that's fine, you can just sit there. During the day, it sits basically right here. And then I can, and actually that works out really well, because what I do is I pull it forward to the back here, and I use the lid as a countertop, and I make fajitas, because I've got pre-cooked meats in the Alpicool. I got cheese, lettuce, shredded lettuce, some salsa, and then in my food container I've got some fajita wraps, and I just sit literally, I have to put the camera down to do it, but I just take that container, put it over there, make my fajitas at the side of the parking lot at a rest stop or parking lot of an event I'm at or whatever it is, roll up a couple of fajitas, eat them, and I'm done. That's perfect. I also keep some pop in the Alpicool. So this is my night mode, with the exception that the food would be on my clothes bag. The front seat's just full of miscellaneous stuff like the CPAP machine container, luggage container, whatever you call it. My extra bag of camera equipment and electronics and cords and stuff sits up there pretty much all the time. Now during the day or the night mode also, right on top of the Alpicool here, I put my CPAP machine. The cord sits up to my mask on the where I sleep, and then what I do is just unplug that little guy and I plug in this cord, which is my CPAP cord, plug that into the CPAP, and bang, I'm just done that fast. It's really, really cool. The only other time I use, what the heck, I have something in the car that has a 110 volts. Oh gosh, what did I only needed it once, but it had a 3-prong plug. So I need to replace this to a 3-prong because I had to go in, this is only 2-prong. I had to go in and replace, or actually lift that up and plug it right into the inverter. I'm damned if I can remember what it was now. But it was, oh, I know what it was. It was the laptop recharging unit. So I have to plug that in. So that's just a matter of changing the cord, not a big deal. So anyway, and I've got a little fan up on here. It's not on at the moment, but if it gets not windy, which it is pretty windy right now, I'll put that on, just have a little breeze. I can actually feel the air conditioning coming from the front right now, even though it's fairly well blocked off with the pillows, which wouldn't normally block it like that. So the car is on right now. It'll be on all night, and that's because of the Alpicool. This is a primitive campsite. If I got one with electricity, excuse me, I wouldn't have the car on right now, but it is. I also have an extension for the exhaust. I'm not going to get down there and show it to you. It isn't on right now because I don't have, it's just blowing into the open. It's not blowing into the Napier, so who cares? Anyway, that was a really bad job explaining, but I'm not an expert at this stuff. But that gives you an idea. As I say, the main difference between how I do it and everybody else is the Alpicool cooler is at the back with me instead of under the seat, under the or behind the passenger front seat on the floor. I just find that a major pain. So that's actually storage for the chair and the table and my some electronic stuff, and anything that's just I can stuff there, it goes there. So it becomes pretty efficient. Well, good morning, folks. Rick from the Boondocking Bears, obviously. I'm ready to get going from camp on the Kentucky, heading up to Lexington today. But I wanted to do a quick, very quick video of showing you how I travel at the back of the Prius, how I set it up so that it's very convenient for me, and stopping a lot and taking video and photography and that sort of thing. So let me show you what I've done. Okay, so this is typically how I've got it set up when I'm ready to travel. So I've got the cooler all set up. I've got a power bank there for USB, I call it a USB hub, and then I've got my food container, and then I've just got plugged in my headlamp so it'll recharge. I've got my gimbal stabilizer for my iPhone. I've got my camera here, and then I've got a power bank here that I used last night that just powers everything, you know, repowers everything. And it's down to 48%, so I thought I'd give it a quick charge while we're traveling. And then over here I've just got my camping gear, like the cooking gear, but that's where it normally stows. So that's my car during the day when I'm traveling. There you go, folks. Prius car camping a la the Boondocking Bears. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them below and I will certainly answer. As always, smile, enjoy, be charitable to all, and talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.